to see why the Quad came together. The Quad came together because these four countries that have capabilities, not just security capabilities or military capabilities, but also economic, technological capabilities, these four democracies came together because they have similar visions of the Indo-Pacific region where they would like to see a rules-based order prevail. What does that mean? That means that countries don't, for example, violate other countries' sovereignties or violate territorial integrity or grab somebody else's land. Or, for example, try to use coercion, that is forcing countries to act against their own interests, using things like economic sanctions, for example. And the idea is that these four countries decided they want to see a rules-based order prevail in Asia, in the Indo-Pacific, where countries could not violate these rules. What they saw is that this rules-based order was being challenged in the region, not only, but particularly by some assertive Chinese actions. And what they found is that the existing architecture, and what they call regional architecture in the region, the existing relationships and the institutions weren't up to the task of dealing with this challenge that was being posed to the rules-based order. Now, what were these existing institutions or mechanisms that existed? One was a system of US bilateral alliances in the Indo-Pacific. Another was ASEAN, the Association for Southeast Asian Nations, which is a grouping of Southeast Asian countries that would meet themselves, but also bring in, as part of the ASEAN Regional Forum, some of the major powers in the region, including the four Quad countries as well as China. Now, what they found, these four countries, the Quad countries, is that neither American bilateral alliances nor ASEAN were up to the task of alone dealing with the challenges that were being posed to the rules-based order in the region. And on a more positive side, they also noticed that these existing mechanisms were not sufficient to offer solutions or alternatives to regional problems at that time. And so what they decided wasn't to create a coalition or a grouping to replace the bilateral relationships or partnerships, or to replace ASEAN, but to work in addition to complement the work that those two structures were doing, and add something, bring something additional to the table, where these four countries would work with other countries in the region. So it was not meant to be an exclusive club. The idea was that the Quad would stay these four countries, but for example, they would work together with a country like South Korea, or for example, even work with, and what you'd think of as an external actor like the UK, or for example, conducting a maritime exercise with France, which is also an Indo-Pacific power, though it seems like more a European one. And the idea wasn't to replace what ASEAN did. It was to very much to complement, to fill the gaps that ASEAN was unable to fill for various reasons. So the Quad wasn't a replacement and isn't considered a replacement for ASEAN, but to complement or supplement it, recognizing that there are certain functions ASEAN is either unable or unwilling to undertake. And that would include, for instance, deterring certain Chinese actions that the Quad countries thought were destabilizing to the region and actually challenged the existing rules in the region as well.